Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day outside today. I love these little quotes. They're totally me. But anyway, back to cooking. Today, I'm going to be making some polenta with caramelized onions and mushrooms on top. If you don't know what polenta is, it's basically cornmeal. It's an Italian dish. It's similar to grits, but a little bit more flavorful, and you can make it savory or sweet. Traditionally, it is savory. You can add so many different types of toppings to this. Today, I'm doing the onions, mushrooms, and garlic. I'm going to flavor it with a little bit of herb butter. Here's some mozzarella and Parmesan, and then to help it make it creamy, some half and half, and then we have some veggie broth. So here I have some vegetable broth. Now, traditional polenta can be made with plain water and a little bit of salt, and then you top it off with some butter. I like adding vegetable broth or chicken broth. It gives it a lot more flavor. So you can use any type of broth that you have or just water. I'm going to add some salt, and then I'm going to add a big dollop of some herb butter. You can use plain butter as well. I let this come to a simmer, and then we're going to stir in our polenta. So while that's coming to a simmer, I preheated a pan over here. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm going to add a little bit of butter. And then we're going to start with our onions. We're going to cook these on low heat. I'm going to give it just a little sprinkling of salt to help them along. We're going to cook this on low heat for about 5 minutes because you want the onions to caramelize, not burn. So make sure your heat is turned down, and you want to stir them occasionally. So we can see here, this has come to a boil. We're going to whisk in the cornmeal, and then we're going to cover it and let it cook for about 30 minutes. And what you want to do is whisk it about every 5 minutes to make sure that it doesn't lump up. And then when it becomes too thick to use a whisk, you want to use a wooden spoon. And about 5 minutes before this is done cooking, we are going to add some of the half and half to this to make it creamy, and a little bit of the Parmesan cheese. So we're going to turn this down to heat to low and then let this cook covered. So here we can see our onions are almost done cooking. I'm going to add the garlic and the mushrooms and cook these for a few minutes until they cook down. We're going to check on our polenta. By the way, the herb butter adds so much flavor to this. You can actually smell it. Whisk it really good. And then we want to cover it back up. You do want to give the salt, you want to give a sprinkling of salt to the mushrooms to help draw out the water as well. I forgot to mention that. And then after the mushrooms are cooking, we're going to give this a taste to see if it needs any more salt. And we will add some pepper to this as well. So our onions and mushrooms are done cooking. You can see here they are completely caramelized. They smell nutty and yummy. So we're going to turn off the heat there. We're going to give our polenta another whisk. We're going to let this cook for probably another 5 minutes before we add some of the Parmesan cheese and half and half. So I just turned up the heat. I'm going to add a little bit of half and half. Whisk that in. You can see it's already looking more creamy. Then we're going to add some of the Parmesan. After we add the Parmesan, you want to give it a taste. Now, the Parmesan will add some salt, so that's why you want to taste it after you add the Parmesan. You don't want to add too much salt beforehand and then end up with a salty polenta. So you want to whisk this really well. Let it cook for about another 5 minutes. So now I'm going to put the polenta together. I have some fresh parsley, a little bit of mozzarella, some more Parmesan, butter, and then our cooked mushrooms, and then the polenta. Now, the polenta can be served as an alternative to mashed potatoes. This dish can also be topped with some cooked bacon or turkey bacon, or any other vegetables that you like, but you want to keep it simple because the focus is on the polenta. And now polenta does firm up a little bit once it cools. There are some people that pour it out in a sheet pan and then cut it up and serve it that way. So there's a lot of different ways to serve polenta, but polenta really means cornmeal. So we're going to pour this into a nice pretty dish. Now you want to top it with a few dollops of butter. It makes it taste better. If you want to avoid it, you can leave that off. A little bit of black pepper. Just a sprinkling, not too much. I am out of fresh ground black pepper, so I'm going to use what I already have. We'll do a little bit of Parmesan. We're going to do a little bit of mozzarella, just to add a little bit more cheese. I like cheese with this. And then we're going to add our mushrooms. This is such a yummy dish. This goes great with chicken or steak. And then we're going to top it off with a little bit of fresh parsley. You have another really amazing side dish that you can serve at a barbecue. You can serve it with a roasted chicken, with some grilled steak. I mean, really, it's a versatile dish, and I really like it as an alternative to mashed potatoes. So give this a try. If you can't find polenta at your grocery store, try buying just plain cornmeal, and that works just as well. I will post this recipe up in a little bit. I hope you enjoyed it.